Just let me finish. He thought for about 4 or 5 minutes, and just let me finish.
So, without further ado, I think we've shared it enough. Um, we want to actually, if we can, gentlemen, we want to take a moment to acknowledge our former Prime Minister, Owen Seymour Arthur, who born October 17, 1949, and passed away July 27, 2020, died at the QEH hospital. We all know that Mr. Arthur was the fifth Prime Minister of Barbados, and he would have served from 1994 to 2008. And he also represented the constituency of St. Peter from 1984 until 2018, and also was a member of the Barbados Labour Party. He's also one of the longest serving prime minister, and if I may add, also he seeked another term, which if you would want would have put him at actually four term, but we know he served with diligence. We also know that he was a strong economist, and he would have led Barbados from recession into
Also CARICOM.
and one of the founders of CARICOM that we know today. So we know we have had a pioneer among us. We would like to just take a moment of silence, gentlemen and lady, a moment of silence to just pay our respect to the late Owen Seymour Arthur. All right, thank you. And just thank you for that moment. We would always remember our former Prime Minister, Owen Arthur. So without further ado, we would also like to say welcome to our sponsor. We do have a sponsor tonight who would have brought us some lovely cupcakes. Huh? They blocking you? Be sharp. Closer to her then. Yeah. So just tell us about your cupcakes, what you have for us. You know, I'm just eager to looking at that. Red velvet.
First, I think Shahaz was the name of the company.
The name of she's gonna do all that. Yeah, go ahead. I'm waiting for the red
I'm
velvet.
Danielle Bishop. I'm the owner of Forgiveness Cakes, and tonight we have 3 flavors for you guys. There's vanilla, red velvet, and cookies and cream. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Goodness Cakes 246. The telephone number is 249-5491. We do a variety of treats, including cookies, cupcakes, cakes, bread pudding. Those are our specialties, and cheesecakes.
Go again with that number again, Daniel.
249
Daniel.
249 5491.
491. What's the name of the company again?
Forgiveness Cakes 246. Forgiveness Cakes.
For goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna post the link and say
Goodness cupcake. So you need to go check it out. I'm really dying to eat that red velvet though. So we want to thank you for sponsoring us. We know these guys have to watch their weights. I see Jermaine getting a belly. I see the money. Kimar, you got problems. So I'll take the cupcake home. I have children. So, gentlemen, you know, I don't have any problem. But please check her out. We always appreciate young people on our show. We always appreciate them coming and giving. The money just post in the link. So that is good. If you want to be a sponsor in this show as well, just feel free to call us and jump on board and see where you could be in the show as well. But we really want to thank you, Daniel, for coming. Thank you for sharing. We're going to just leave them up for a while because we're definitely going to eat them probably in between the show as well where we talk. I don't know if that's etiquette, but
before we go on though, what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
I used to actually just believe in having more than one stream of income. Baking is something that
Persons in Barbados, and if Diane could realize her dream of owning a cafe, that'd be very beneficial not only to her but to Barbados and to the economy, because a lot of persons are out to work right now, and we need as much entrepreneurs coming forward and taking up the mantle sooner and not later. So I just like to wish Diane well and congratulate her on her using her God-given talents to further her dreams.
Thank you, Daniel. Come on.
Just push the chair and say right there.
That's it. Okay. No. Yeah. You never just send the money. Yeah. We would definitely have to bring back on Daniel again shortly so that we can get some person. Yeah. I can pick it up. Some person are saying they didn't hear you, Daniel, so we're gonna bring back on. So sorry about the glitch, guys. We're working on that. But anyhow, so we want to definitely discuss the cabinet reshuffle that we would have heard, we've seen of lately by the administration as it relates to, changing up the order of business. Government, right? Tomorrow, either
Shifting to the Ministry of Home Affairs, Information and Public Affairs. Dwight Sunderland, Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment. Adrian Ford, Minister of Environment and National Beautification. Charles Griffith, Minister
Stop. We got some issue.
Alright, sorry.
Can you move off on the turn?
Yeah, I can't stop now. I don't know what's going on.
Turn off all the
All these songs on. I don't know what's going on. Go ahead, Kima. I will fix it. Go ahead.
So, in continuing what I was saying, I last mentioned Charles Griffith shifted to the Minister in the Ministry of Water Resources. Kurt Humphrey, Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy. Jerome Walker unchanged as Minister of Foreign Affairs. Cynthia Ford unchanged as Minister of People Empowerment and Elderly Affairs. Mr. Indar Weir, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, unchanged. Mr. Peter Phillips shifted to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Sandra Husbands, Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, unchanged. Marsha Cadell, Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, unchanged. Senator Kay McConney, unchanged as Minister of Innovation, Science and Smart Technology. Colin Jordan, Minister of Labour and Social Partnership and the Third Sector. Out of the Cabinet are George Payne, Edmund Hinkson, Lucille Moore, Trevor Prescott, and Neil Rowe. So, where do we start?
Where do we start?
Well,
Where do we
I
start?
will honestly say I was championing for a cut to the cabinet for quite some time. So with the three that have lost their jobs, that is a start. Realistically, cabinet is still too big in my opinion. I think
Can I please a deep more?
let's be realistic. The cabinet is still too big in my opinion, and I think that there are some persons who should have been changed or should have been dropped from the cabinet, particularly the Attorney General, because his performance, and according to public sentiment, is not very desirable for him. So I think that's one change I expected but did not see. I really didn't expect Mr. Trevor Prescott to be out of the cabinet. I am not quite aware of the rationale associated with that. I also didn't expect Mr. George Payne to be out either. In regards to Neil Rowe, he's a newcomer to the political landscape and he was parliamentary secretary. So I'm not quite sure why he would have been removed so early on in his tenure as a new face in the political arena when you have much older persons in the cabinet who are still there. So I mean, y'all guys are more familiar with that side, so you can help me.
Anybody want to give it a go?
Sure.
Okay.
Timur, I'll let you actually have a different opinion. I don't think that the cabinet itself is too large. If you look at the pandemic that Barbados, if you look at the pandemic that Barbados is currently going through, we need all hands on deck. Now, you said the cabinet was too large. You look at the salaries of the executive, and I ask you this question: even if you cut 10 people from cabinet now, you probably would only save the country about
16,000 a year. 16,000 a month per person.
So yeah, 16,000 by 10 is 160,000 by 12. You're looking at probably $1 million or $2 million. Now, Barbados doesn't have $1 million problem or a $2 million problem. Barbados got a $2 billion problem. So this is what I'm going to say to you. We have 40,000 people in Barbados unemployed. If not, the government of Barbados, led by the Honorable Mayor Motley, was elected to fix the problems that persist in this country. When she was elected, she was not told that we are going to give you 30 seats, but you can have 10 ministers. She was told we give you 30 seats, do the job. Miss Motley is doing the job that she sees fit. Hold on.
And continue.
I'm not being unreasonable.
The Prime Minister said that 16 ministers would have been too much under the DLP. But she knows she has 26.
You said 16 is too. She said 16 is too much, but I think that 2 DLP ministers at that time was too much.
Amen.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we have to look at here is the fact that the Prime Minister, when the BLP rather, when it came to power, it was with a huge I can't hear what be back. Sorry. It was with a huge win, which a win that a lot of people did not expect.
But also the mandate.
Right? No, not yet. They're not getting the mandate yet, but the win was with 30 people. And surely, I've heard, well, for the fact that you have such a huge win, 30, you have to really look now at appeasing that 30. Where do you effectively use that 30? At that time now you can say now, Jermaine, that the mandate of the country and the burden of the country was so heavy. The financial debt which we faced ourselves in with the economic collapse and a number of things was problematic. A large cabinet would have been able to help the government meet those manifesto promises and also fix a lot of the issues. Obviously now, which the government have into their belief that they can slim down now because they have accomplished certain things, which means that you could probably expect in the future further slimming of the cabinet as the mandates get fixed, as the things that suppose the manifesto promises and the thing are fixed, then you can bring lower and lower cabinet bring people to backbench, rather, if you want to call it. But I believe the government had such a huge mandate that these are one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons why we saw such a big cabinet in the beginning.
From a political eye, a large cabinet is mere protection against rebellion from a prime minister.
Strategic point.
Right, a power play from the prime minister, which is okay looking at it from a political perspective. We know that backbenchers, particularly I would say more senior people, tend to be a little bit more rebellious on their years out. So having the large cabinet kind of constrains that behavior.
Mark, can you reasonably say that the current Barbados, their party cabinet, from the day they were sworn in on the 27th of May 2015, right? Those whom are in, those whom went out, who just subsequently went out. And including, I also want to include Minister Lisa Cummings and in good measure, whom, even though they were not in cabinet the last 2.5 years or so, they were out there being seen as actively working. Can you reasonably say that the ministers that this government has in place now were not working?
Some no, some yes.
Like who? Yeah. He
pointed to the Attorney General first.
I maintain that the Attorney General should have lost his job.
Why?
If I am to grade him by his own stick, he wanted to fire Adriel Brathwaite with way less murders on his belt and saying that Mr. Brathwaite was not able to handle the current situation. So if you look at the current statistics under Adriel Brathwaite as Attorney General as compared to Bill Marshall, they're a lot worse in terms of crimes and murders, right? Using his own measuring stick.
The money answer you.
Kimar, do you agree that the current situation in Barbados after the BLP won the election was a continuation of what was going on before? Do you agree with that?
Explain a little bit.
I just asked, do you agree, based upon what was happening before, before election, pre-election, if it is a continuation, if what was occurring is a continuation of what was going on before the BLP came into office?
We had violent crimes, yes, we had.
So it's a continuation?
A spate of murders.
It's a continuation?
It got a lot worse.
Okay, yes, it got worse.
Yeah.
We also have seen that the government invested in the police force, invested in the defense force, brought in equipment that Barbados never had before in these institutions to help solve the problem that we have. And today, it was recently brought out by the police force that crime in Barbados is lower.
Would you be surprised to know that the crime statistics actually have been? Because I find that even when we're looking at my show here, I made this point. Hold on.
I made the point about violent crimes,
murders. But hold on, and I want to say this to you. You keep on talking about 49 murders like a fish once across your neck. Because that is the only crime that y'all seem to think happening in Barbados, right? There are thousands of petty robberies, rapes, traffic infractions, frauds, all sorts of crimes happening in Barbados. The police force has reported that we have a reduction in crime. Now, the money you talk about police force, the Royal Barbados Police Force, right? The same Attorney General that you're criticizing also brought in the judges that Debs didn't bring in, right? He brought in some of the law clerks. He changed the system within the Supreme Court and the magistrate courts. He brought in legislation to ensure that persons who, if you get up tomorrow and you want to shoot somebody and kill somebody, you will spend the next 2 years in prison without having the
And
opportunity.
the thing in
Germany,
Germany is
if you commit a murder or
it's rather unfortunate that the DLP in their time didn't see that as a problem. They come and shoot you and go in front of a judge or magistrate and get bail.
Hold on, and the money,
That's a very important. That's a very important.
the money, I want to add something here, right? Because I want you to bring valid and reasonable arguments to the table. You curse Dale Marshall with murders. I have never once yet under Dale Marshall, when he was the previous Attorney General or as the current Attorney General, heard that 23 people get shot at one location in one day.
So, alright.
I think we should move on to a different topic. Sorry, a different aspect. So, Dale Marshall, who's your next person that you think should not be in this cabinet?
Because Dale is clearly suited for the cabinet.
Please, that's just your opinion. I would congratulate Lisa Cummings and
Why?
let me finish. I would congratulate Lisa Cummings and getting Ezra on being awarded the cabinet job. I think that Lisa Cummings performed quite well as the chairman of the Port Authority.
Okay. So that means Kerry was doing a good job.
Pardon?
That means Kerry was doing a good job as well then, because he was the Minister of International Transport. No, now we Kurt Humphrey.
She was tourism.
Currently, the
Kurt
Minister of
Humphrey.
Economy.
economies and maritime affairs.
Yeah, so he would be for report. So NBC doing a good job, he doing a good job too.
Technically.
I maintain that Ralph Tarn should.
No, before we jump off of the
No, but we were on the minister that you think
hold on.
should not be there.
All right, so let me do it another way. Let me do it another way. We just touched. Let me go down the list. We just touched the Attorney General, who is on change, and we've already supported that he has a trial. We understand that crime is out there. I can probably say and commend the Royal Barbados Police Force for the swiftness in how they're tackling the crime and how they're apprehending these murderers, alleged murderers, or whatever they want to call it,
And just get custody.
and whatever, right? I can say that the police is taken. Now, the other body on the list, if I'm going down in order based on the newspaper, would be Santia Bradshaw, who is also on change. Now, as Minister of Education, we could we understand that obviously she only effectively acting her role now because she was of her ailments and was unable to successfully perform through the year. We had different, like you see more acting in a ministerial position, and then the ministry obviously running without, in some cases running with the PS. So now that we are seeing, obviously, we have a minister tackled by COVID-19. We have a minister who has to put things in place as it relates to my children and your children. So which is kind of a little bit of where, as a minister, we're going to find that she's going to be spotlight. And it's obviously licks are going to come left, right, and center, because in one instance, she's going to try her best, and I believe it would be bottom of my heart, she's going to try her most best to secure our children as they go to school. I visited one school, and I saw the things that they had in place, and it was well put together. Now, obviously, we have the DLP pundits, and we have other people who may want to scrutinize the fact that she has not been doing a good job. I think underneath the circumstances that we face, I thought that it would be fitting that she was not changed, that she continue in her capacity as the Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training. What are your best thoughts on her? And then we will do them one by one and come down.
Let Kimar go first.
My challenge would be the announcement of the changing of the Islamic plus. We still have not arrived. Like, we have not arrived at the fact of what we are going to do yet, or what we're going to replace it with. I found that in trying to get school, or the city classes, the educational structure online posed a bit of a challenge to students and to parents, and being able to effectively manage the process, it was a bit challenging for the stakeholders. Not sure how much that has to do with the policymakers in particular. Also, I want to applaud the effort of civil society in giving and awarding the tablets and other electronic equipment to donate to schools and persons who were in need. So definitely applaud that effort. In regards to the teachers and the teaching situation, we have quite a bit of issues associated with the management of teachers and the different unions and what's not voicing their opinions. We also had we also had this may not be under the purview of the minister, but we also had the issue of the resignation of Sean Spencer, the head of the Barbados Union of Teachers.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
That's what I just
But we
said.
mentioned it.
That's what I just said. At the end of the day, he is a teacher and she's educated.
Is it for political?
But yeah, political.
Yeah, is it for his political future that he resigned?
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with me.
I'm just saying, I was asking.
What I am saying is that at the end of the day, he resigned obviously to focus on his teaching. So what
Is it his teaching or his political future?
It might be more.
So he's running.
So right now he's teaching?
I would assume.
Who's running
I
for?
mean, you would assume you just said that he.
You know, allegedly think he's running for the Democrats.
Next.
Allegedly.
Come on, Kimar.
Okay,
Anyways, though, but so are you for or against Santia being remain in the position as Minister of Education?
I neither here nor there.
Because based on what you said, you only have one issue regarding which is level plus, and for me that's not an issue because I think the government will have that solved in the.
So we have Roger here saying she has done a great job so far. She has not been able to solve every issue, but she has communicated with the public frequently, and that is reassuring. That is reassuring leadership, and I think that yes, she has communicated a lot, and I think that given the time, this is a minister that we have to see develop over the time. I don't think it would have been wise to move her because she has to develop. It is not unlike a lot of other ministries, education is not one that you can fling ministers in and out. I don't think it's ever shown that in history that our education ministers are quickly reshuffled that way.
You see, unfortunately, the Democratic Party didn't do that. But they should have, you know. No, he just don't flame ministers, right? But I think it could have flamed with the damn because the Minister of Education, the damn side, my gosh.
So we have.
But realistically, though, managing education is a very challenging ministry. We had before the COVID, we had a lot of issues with getting schools ready. We had a lot of environmental issues going on into the schools as well.
But that came from the fact that a lot of neglect was left in the school to keep on. And I'm telling you from an insider as it relates to certain schools, that a lot of schools were not given the assistance that it should have been.
Funds?
The plant and fund, it was given funds, but it isn't activated because the Ministry of Education stands as one of the ministries that received the largest sets of funding. But in those times, the plants were not taken care of. Then you had a minister on President too that identified that when she came, she did more fixing tried to do more fixing in 1 year than the Democrat would have tried to do in 10. Because she tried to get every school touched because what didn't have environmental issues, had leak problem, had different issues, and you have a minister that said, listen, let's try to fix everything, and not only that, it opened a lot of employment for a lot of
unfortunately, she's got to fix a problem that shouldn't be a problem. She has to fix a problem of having a new brand facility for school meals that up to this time cannot be opened because of issues
with funding.
Because of issues, Kimar, with your.
But let me just add before Jermaine jump in. Also, history has proven that in no minister of education have ever successfully opened any schools during have all the schools ready during the time to give back the schools. So we cannot say every school, every minister have faced that challenge. That you know that, for example, if you go up on a roof and you see you got to change a beam, and that beam is rotten in 5 other beams, you have to change all the beams. So that say 2 weeks don't push back to a 4 week. So no minister have proven that they have opened. They said that, okay, I'm going to rebuild or help or fix 10 schools and open all 10 in time for the school year. None. So that can't be an argument for us.
Well, my take on it is this. I'm going to be for and against here. You just made a point that I don't agree with.
Who's that?
Maybe spoke about something not having being able to open schools plan after 2 years, however it is.
They open?
No, I know it's not open.
Oh, okay.
But I often say this to people: when you made a point that government is a continuum,
Mm-hmm.
and when you come into office, and this is the problems I have with politicians, stop talking with pass. You're in his hot seat, deal with it. Moving on from that point,
With it? Will they try to fix it?
no,
They
you're
still
trying
trying
to fix it. So don't worry about what the Dems did in relation to education.
Don't
You
get
have the
weird,
seat
man.
now. You do what you have to do, right? But moving on from that, I would say that Santia, not apart from being a loyal supporter of Ms. Motley, she has actually worked in a position as a Minister of Education. She is arguably one of the more visible ministers. And let us not forget that when our Prime Minister went on sick leave at the beginning of COVID, that it was Sandia Bradshaw who took up the mantle as Prime Minister of this country, acting Prime Minister. And as challenging as it may have been at the time, she actually was able to, carry out the duties of the office of Prime Minister. One, and it kind of put a little succession planning in place so you would know in the event that something that Miss Motley wasn't there, that Sandy is a possible contender to be the leader of the Barbados Labour Party. And I put that out there.
I would go to say that's reaching and stretching for.
It's not reaching and stretching. She was the acting Prime Minister for almost 8
a
weeks.
personal promotion that you're doing for Santia.
Next person.
I'm not objective about her being.
I think Sandia is a good fit for the cabinet. She is a very talented young person, and if you want to sit down, like you are in the DLP, right? The DLP had a cabinet. You had a man like Patrick Todd in the cabinet for 10 years doing nothing. I didn't complain.
Now he walked.
Oh yes.
We have Ronald Toppin, Minister of Industry and International Business. I think that with Ronald Toppin, we've not heard a lot about him in his ministry. And again, you have to appreciate that there's some ministry that sound in terms of you always have to be in public limelight. Ronald, Minister Toppin has not been moved as the Minister of Industry and International Business. I haven't heard a lot about what the ministry is doing per se, but I could only assume they're probably doing good things.
Yeah. Particularly, he focused on the issues with the OECD and getting Barbados removed from the blacklisting and relisting. However, in engaging the OECD, you would realize that they usually move the goalposts on us. Every time we basically eat to their requirements, they come back and say, well, you got to make these additional changes. So if you guys followed where we made some changes to our taxation policy. So we basically repealed some of our international business acts to bring them onto the domestic scene. So therefore what they call the ring fencing is no longer happening in Barbados. When Mr. Toppin brought the legislation to sort of that issue, applaud yes, but then later on we realized that the goalpost has moved again, which obviously saw Mr. Toppin having to work fresh over and over. If I heard the rationale that these are kind of doing some succession planning to bring in some younger people into ministries. If that's the case, I also heard that Mr. Toppin may not be running again. So he could have been one to be replaced by a younger person if you look at it in that context. Not focusing on performance or...
When you say younger person, you mean in church, you're looking at two different angles. You're looking at consistency versus ministry. You can't just take somebody off the street and make them minister.
Speaking about, okay. You use Trevor Prescott, for example. You give, that says you move Trevor Prescott from the front bench to the back bench. But coming in were two younger people, like Lisa Cummings and Ian Gurney Edgeworth.
Who you would have taken for the Senate then to replace Toppin?
But Sands is available.
Well,
that's not a promotion for Sands, but just calling the name as a...
Right, but I mean, he obviously has to bring in international trade, I find that some ministries you just can't trust people in it. I think science has to be ready to. Well, I know that the Senate is grooming ground for politicians. I don't think he is a politician that I see. I don't think he's a ready politician to take on such a ministry, especially one of international trades and business like that. I know he's also a lawyer, but I don't think. I am all for young people getting into public life and what I'm not into though is that we are trust into it because we want to remove. I think that if for right now, let's say if Senator Sands is interested that what he needs to do then is get behind the minister, whether it be in a public forum or a private forum, and learn within that trace that when we do politics.
How old is Senator Sands?
Senator Sands is young. I don't think he's in 20s. 20 something. He don't think he's even in 30s. I mean, that's not disputed. It's
No. The reason why I asked, right? Who was the most successful minister of education ever in Barbados?
I mean, most people want to be about it.
How old was Mia Molly when she became minister of education?
Right, but I'm not saying
that meets your point.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I think that we all have to look at it that the ability of the person and the willingness of the person. I'm not just
category of person.
Yeah, I'm not just quick on choice somebody.
He's a lawyer.
That has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but
She was a senator. He's a senator.
Fine, but there's not a dispute.
Her father was
Mia was a senator?
No, she was a senator.
Don't drift too far off the point, right? The point,
Mia was a senator between 1991 to 1994.
Alright, the point is, and I told y'all not necessarily pinpointing Sam, but my point is, based on his age and based on the fact that he may be leaving politics.
Leaving?
No, I'm speaking about
wrong topic.
Yeah, right. Based on the fact that he may be leaving politics, would it be a prime opportunity to give someone younger a more quote unquote like profile opportunity, even if it's
But who say he's leaving politics?
even if it's switching one of the persons who held a previous ministry into giving them that ministry, fine.
Well, this is what we'll say.
Who say he's leaving politics?
This is what we'll say at round topic now. For me, personally, round topic is now the most important minister in Barbados. I'll tell you the reason why. The tourism industry in Barbados is at an all-time low. So Minister Cummings now has to come in and she has to try to rebuild that industry because, as you know, all of the plants are shuttered, restaurants ain't really reopening, and we really don't have much people coming into Barbados now. Barbados is in terms of when you look at the economic statistics this year, at the end of the year when the central bank does the report, Barbados will gain more money from the international business sector than it will gain from the tourism industry. Ron Toppin, as a minister, he may not be the most flamboyant or be one of the most talkative, and by the way, that doesn't mean you're working when flamboyant and talkative.
Yeah, we know that.
Right?
Only productive.
Right? But in the background, he is doing his work. Now, you talked about shifting the goalposts, and you are right, because the latest thing that OECD has brought on us now is something called economic substance requirements. So Ronald in the background is trying to fight that. Right? Ronald's trying to fight a lot of other issues which are affecting the international business sector in Barbados. And that is why I say to you openly that right now, in this COVID time, he is arguably the most important minister in Barbados.
One of the.
No, he is. Because his ministry single-handedly will ensure that Barbados earns revenue. Because remember this, you have 32,000 civil servants, you got to pay them. The money will come from someplace, ain't coming from tourists no more.
So that means the program which the Prime Minister would have instituted, the 12-month working program would then obviously be something that will fall underneath his ministry to make sure. I'm thinking it falls under his ministry that will make sure that we earn revenue at least from the people bringing in their spouse, revenue driven.
I can recall, remember they had an occurrence where we lost a preferential agreement with Canada. Yeah. And we basically lost over like $200 million every year.
Don't this with the minister, I think.
Right? And I think going forward though, the Minister of International Business needs to play a very large role in negotiating other agreements with other countries, definitely focusing on those double taxation agreements that we have right now.
The Minister of International Business is the one who actually negotiates with other countries on the double taxation agreements.
Right. So
in collusion with the Minister of Finance.
Right. So
yeah.
Great. So
all right.
Right. So
we
what
have,
I'm saying, sorry.
we have Mr. Bostic, Lieutenant Colonel Bostic. He's the Minister of Health and Wellness. He's also an unchanged minister. One of the things I appreciate about Mr. Bostic is that I love his composure, the way he spoke during COVID. He was very articulate. Well, during the worst part of it, in that time, he spoke very well. He spoke very articulate. He was one not to overly push himself or overly try to emphasize something that was not there. I think he battled it very well. He brought a sense of calm. He brought the way he spoke. He said he didn't want to answer the media. He said it. That's a question for this person. He knew where to hold himself in a particular circle. And I think that I could say kudos to the way how he handled himself as a minister, and the way how he handled it. I must say he did really well. I don't want to change him.
I figure that most persons, when Ms. Motley first announced him as Minister of Health, wondered why. Because we have doctors and whatever that was there in cabinet, and they wonder why he lost it. But he has proven himself during the past 2 years, and more so during COVID. And I also want to commend him for his good work. And I hope that he completes the tasks that he has and the goals that he has in mind regarding the Ministry of Health.
Doctors make it worse when they serve now.
I actually heard somebody say that it is somewhat to what Jermaine just said, and that is oftentimes that you may see somebody as a doctor, and you may say they're the best body for the Ministry of Health, because that person will know what the doctors want.
Yeah, but
the doctors
from
they don't want that person. Yeah, the doctor may say, well, look, he really don't know what we want, because he may be a general practitioner, or somebody in surgery may say, look, you defending
because one of the major things with Ministry of Health is management. And I think I was told that Bostic supposed to be some specialist in human resource management.
Management, right? So but I think sometimes we're the worst persons to deal with ourselves. And I find that we would need the structure. Like Mr. Bostic may be coming from management, and you may need management for that particular ministry, and not a doctor. So it's just how we see it and how we look at it. Go ahead, Keith.
I definitely agree that Mr. Bostic performed well in the ministry. Kudos to him, it was not amazing. But in the Ministry of Health, my challenge is the appointment of
who?
Ms. Sunderland, to report directly to the Prime Minister, as opposed to report directly to the Minister of Health. Right? I think that creates some type of friction with a power dynamic, whereas the Minister of Health could give a clear instruction. However, the person, not making it personal to her, but whoever occupies the post can say directly, I do not report to you as Minister of Health, I report to the Prime Minister.
But I think it will come from what you call let me see if it hold on. The fact that as a Prime Minister has the power to dictate who she wants report directly to her. We understand that these are some ministries and some state agencies that have serious problems. The hospital is a critical component to Barbados. If I say as a Prime Minister to Jermaine, report to me, it does not mean don't report to you as a Minister of Health. It means that I need for you to come, I'm giving you the open door to come directly to me, because if there is something in this country's main and only medical facility that needs fixing, then it needs to be fixed. And there's something that the Prime Minister may be able to, within her power as the Prime Minister, say, okay, well, Minister Bostic may need to come up the total pole to get permission. Come directly to me, and I will sit, and if we know the Prime Minister, she's not one to make irrational decisions before inclusion, and say to them, well, look, bring the table and let's have a discussion and let's have a thing. I don't see it as a problem. I see it as a way of, you talk about human resources management, I add in a little bit more flair to the human resources management by saying it needs more hand on that, it needs more help, and I'm the Prime Minister, and I see this as a critical aspect of the country. I'm willing to also give my help. I don't see anything
I wanna say this. when Fernando Stewart was Prime Minister of Barbados, they had the Rural Development Commission and the Urban Development Commission, right?
Right.
Now, under Winafa, former Prime Minister, the Urban Development Commission reported to the Minister of Social Transformation, which was Hamtalashi. Fernando Stewart became Prime Minister of Barbados, and no, when David Thompson was the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Rural Development Commission and the Urban Development Commission, I think, reported to the Minister of Finance at the time, right? When Fernando Stewart became Prime Minister of Barbados, the Rural Development Commission and the Urban Development Commission reported to the Prime Minister's office. Now, their role as laid out by their mandate is just as important as the KVH. But their role is for the renewal of urban Barbados. And, all right, so what I'm saying to use this, and it was to add to Kimara's point. A Prime Minister who heads the cabinet decides which agencies report to which minister. It is just that how the National Cultural Foundation is in effect now reporting to the Prime Minister of Barbados. Right? The Prime Minister has a choice to determine who reports to whom. Right? And you see health? Health is one of the most important things. The Prime Minister has to ensure that that area is good. Because if something happens at the hospital in Potter, she has to ensure that she has a handle on it. So I have no issue with that.
Okay, we can jump to Indarware, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security.
You got some assistants too.
What do you mean?
Peter Phillips.
Well, no, yeah, I moved to change.
That's your friend.
No, but he is the minister in the ministry.
But I didn't get there yet. Minister Indarware, Minister of Agriculture. He was also on a move minister, an unchanged minister, but we've also seen a lot of controversial stuff around going around with him and previous members. We also look at the fact that this all stirs from the whole thing of should we import chicken wings, should we not import chicken wings, what loss of revenue Barbados will have versus the loss of revenue it will have on the small business person or gain it will have on the small business person. Other than that, the little riffraff that is going on right now, I have not heard much about the ministry. I don't think I've seen the ministry blossom to a large extent. I know there's a number of meetings, people, but I've not heard like good things or bad things per se about the ministry. But I think that the ministry needs to do a little bit more in terms of visibility, pushing as it relates to COVID. The ministry is actually one that is going to be looked at as food security for Barbados as it relates to lessening the importation and starting to look at homegrown food of poultry and what's not.
If you want to add on, Kimar, if you remember before COVID, what was in the air regarding his ministry was basically the legalization of marijuana.
Right, that was another.
And that was probably one of the most major policies that he was basically in charge of.
I want to say though that I am disappointed that there has not been much advancement on the whole medicinal marijuana.
Come on, Jermaine. Come on,
Come on,
Jermaine.
No.
Come on, Jermaine.
If ever there was a time that we should be advancing medicinal marijuana and ensure that we got plantations out there growing and small farmers can be making money, it is now.
All right, so Jermaine.
So I want to say,
so Jermaine, you're telling me that during COVID we should have prioritized legalizing marijuana when the country was shut down and issues were about food, supermarkets or whatever, and you should do about marijuana over food. That's more important. Marijuana is more important than food. Yes or no? Yes or no?
You can't tell me how to answer the question. And I will say that marijuana is part of the economic strategy of the government, and food is part of the social strategy. And
but they marry each other.
The government of Barbados has had 2.5 years to deal with the whole marijuana issue.
But that's not nothing you can bring over.
No. What I want to say is this. I want to see there be an advancement with respect to the industry, because look, in times when you are losing revenue,
You don't want to say last month?
No, but
You
this.
don't want to say in May? You don't want to say April?
Hold on, the money.
But
This marijuana industry could actually bring serious financial benefits to Barbados.
I mean, no, that's not what
And you know what my problem is? My problem is that we in Barbados, we are too conservative. You know, and this is where you're going to
Right? That's not even
the Democratic Party.
Party.
Hold on, the Democratic Party could have had this marijuana industry up and running 5 years ago.
You just
Right?
look out Democratic Party, you back at Democratic Party again?
No.
Move forward.
No.
You see what you said earlier? Tremendous.
Hold on. The marijuana industry should have been up and running and going, because the reality is that the mindset of the world is coming around. We don't want to wait until the whole world says yes, we're ready for marijuana and we growing it,
All right.
and then Barbados
On
say,
topic. So the Ministry of Agriculture.
I guess, my opinion, the Ministry of Agriculture had a feed program, which I support 100%. I think they're underfunded the feed program and did not place a fundamental focus on it. I did participate in the feed program, and it had its benefits and it had its issues. And I could clearly say that the government should allocate more funding towards the feed program and be effective with the agricultural management companies.
What is the program?
The food empowerment and enfranchisement drive.
I think one of the things I would like to see though a little bit more focus on is also this pre-bill loss and everything.
Yeah.
And I think where the Ministry of Agriculture needs to be more technologically savvy, where we implement, we need to find a way, a high-tech way, very costly, but a high-tech way of protecting crops. I think we need to roll out a program which incentivizes farmers on safety. You know, like I heard that, I don't know how true it is, but people are saying that if you drink your car safe, and you put in the dash cam, that the insurance companies are willing to give you
Really?
cheaper. I heard it. I don't know if it's true.
This is it.
But
Yes?
yeah, I just heard it. But I mean, just say that. I didn't know in the states.
In
In the states, that there are some people doing it, like for safe driving, for having dash cams in your car and stuff like that, and making sure you have alarm systems, anything that can stop theft. The insurance companies in the states actually give you some sort of incentive for. I think we need to look at where farmers need to look to fence their property properly, where they need to put Wi-Fi on the land and put in the proper cameras, where they may need to hire people to hire a security company to do roving response if it's an area like Pine Basin or those areas that the roving responses could take. So I think that my only challenge with the Ministry of Agriculture, and I hope that that's something the minister looks at, is looking at the technological aspect, tech part of the ministry.
You speak of everything about prayer, Larson, but you forget the most important thing. Well, when the police actually catches the persons who want to carry people crops and carry court, it gets suspended sentences because the really and truly don't get locked up.
I think it's an indictable offense, no. So I don't think you could actually plead.
So
The option is just get years for that, no.
I know that the Democratic Party had a plan to implement an agricultural institute, sort of like a school for agriculture. I would actually support agriculture and basically, turning it into a fruitful science. So the same way we have at university the faculty of sport or the faculty of economics or what's not, a push to get agriculture as one of the priority areas of study would be a very important thing.
I see St. George doing something similar, and St. George secondary school doing really good.
Yeah,
I wanted to hear they have one of the best agricultural program, organic agricultural program in the school system. So that's really cool. We also have Mr. Peter Phillips, who would now be, he was the minister in the Ministry of Transport Works and Maintenance at the time. I think we now dropped the maintenance and added water resources, but he is now the minister in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. What do you guys think about that move? I know that when I look at the Prime Minister's move, I see it very strategic, because you have to look at one thing that St. Lucie is pinpointed as the areas where the lands are for a lot of the food security. So I think that was a brilliant move moving Peter to the Ministry of Agriculture, because his consistency will be the main driving force behind behind agriculture. So I think that was a brilliant move.
Just to add to some solutions, you mentioned St. George Secondary School. I think there needs to be some discussion between Education Minister and Agriculture, whereas we can probably have Minister of Education and Agriculture, that we can probably implement and have specialty schools that would cater towards teaching agriculture at the level that we speak of, technological advances and what's not, greenhouses and what's not.
Yeah.
And they can select 3 or 4, do a pilot project and go from there.
I agree with you.
A company called Inagro in Barbados, where you use basically vertical farming. And I think I saw a video with the Minister of Agriculture.
This is headed by a lady?
No, it's headed by 2 young entrepreneurs. One's called Reshuffle and Joanie. Can't remember the other.
There's one I heard about recently that you actually go and you actually do a course, and because they have it all set up, you actually do the actual labor work, and also do the course, so you actually get all times hand in hand for one another.
We agree that the farmers would have to come together to invest in that type of security feature, and that's why we're talking about incentives as it relates to how do they, let's say when you shop, you have your MasterCard. When you shop for gas, now you have your Sol card or Regis card. So there's incentive on these things where people secure, I think, a little bit more responsibility. But as I said, I do think that Peter Phillips is a great addition to that ministry, from the sense that he would be looking. I think travel is from St. Lucie to down to.
I would like to hear since Jermaine here will also be residing in St. Lucie soon. He will be his MP. I'd like to hear from Jermaine his
thoughts.
Yes, his thoughts. Peter,
moving.
Peter was the Ministry of Transport and Works. And Maintenance, sorry. I think the Minister did good, and Minister Phillips. They were doing a reasonably okay job in the Ministry of Transport and Works. I was kind of stunned that Minister Phillips was moved. I was kind of stunned that Minister Phillips was moved. And, it's kind of sad now, because there are some roads where I come from in St. Lucie that need fixing, that I certainly will now have to reach out to a new minister and ask to fix them. With reference to...
because as being an MP for St. Lucie, I think he could still act on your behalf and liaise with the minister.
Well, I am not one who sits down and relies on specific ministers.
So therefore you're gonna build the road yourself?
I'm not going to build the road myself. But no.
So when you rely on to get your road then?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Right? But hold on. What I want to say,
you can move on.
I would hope that with Minister Phillips going into the Ministry of Agriculture, that he would bring his experience from the Ministry of Transport and Works, and obviously from his private sector experience, into the ministry. And I tell people I'm not about personalities, I'm about getting work done. And if you can do the work, do the work. And if you ain't doing the work, well, move on.
Okay. I personally think that Phillips is one that could take any backbench, simply to the fact that I do not necessarily see him going past 1 term, maybe 2.
Against who did you bringing that will take
The
Minister
Democratic
Phillips
Labour
out?
Party candidate for St. Lucie will definitely beat him in the next election.
Who would that be?
The other candidate?
I don't know, I'll never teach to see right now.
But you're confident that your MP, that your representative will be
is he saying that Verla didn't give him permission to announce that she's the candidate for St. Lucie next election?
Who said the candidate was
well,
so you're saying that it's not you
we can assume that
you
could assume.
We are free to assume, but I think that's one of the challenges with the party right now, that these leaving me to assume is just like what the former prime minister did, left us in shambles and hold the country to ransom for 3 extra months, and it feels real dirty. So this holding your candidates to heart, it feels real dirty.
But
Like, I have advice to keep holding them all the way to 2022.
But let me get back on track.
Another big person that we saw that was shipped. I hear people talk about the word about demoting, and people start using the word demotion and promotion. It's Kerry Simmons, who was the Minister of Transport. Sorry, who was the Minister of Tourism and International Transport, which Senator, or well, rather Minister Lisa Cummins now took up. We have Kerry Simmons, who is the Minister now of Energy, Small Business and Entrepreneur, which is actually a merger now. I think that Lisa Cummins as Minister is pretty good because of her diverse background and she knows the diplomatic and the policies and what's not. I think Kerry Simmons one is also not bad for the fact that energy is going to be a major driving force in this country. We saw the KL project that went down the hill. We saw that the last administration actually focused some of what it had, little attention it had on energy. Apparently that some of the persons that they were trying to get in bed with were not up to the standards as it relates to upstanding citizens. But we can see that this particular one, energy itself, is amazing. I kind of find it challenging with the merger between small business and entrepreneurship. I know that energy will create business and will create entrepreneurs, but I kind of always like to see entrepreneurship and small business as a standalone ministry, because there are so many entrepreneurs in Barbados and so many small businesses in Barbados that I think that needed to be a focus. I would have loved to see probably Senator Lynette Holder come into the ministerial ring and have taken up the role of small business and entrepreneurship, seeing that she also leads the Barbados Small Business Association, and then give Minister Simmons the energy role. I think that would have been more fitting for me, because I really think that there needs to be serious focus on that.
But you know, as Kimar here is alluding to having a big cabinet, so therefore now you are now bringing back the numbers.
I don't mind bringing, but I never had a problem with the numbers, from the sense that as long as the work is being done, and I think that as a country like this, we need the work to be done. We had 16, little. We have 20, and I see them.
We're speaking here about work being done, and we have here.
Yeah, I didn't get the name on who is
Kerry Simmons.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that the merger between energy and small business is a very visionary one. Particularly Barbados now has to basically ramp up further its energy policy. I know we're heading the renewable energy route, so I think that you're now going to innovate in terms of how Barbados practices the use of energy. So I could see we have renewable energy goals by 2030, which I don't think that we are going to realistically meet. Right? So
I saw your president speaking about a demotion as it relates to how she sees Kerry Simmons' role. Do you see it that way?
I think energy is an opportunity for the new minister to come in and innovate. It may not be so high profile or so classy in the public sense, but I think that any person coming into any ministry should perform well, regardless of if it's youth, finance, international business. So yes, the allocations for some ministry are larger than some, but that's not necessarily what it's about, because if you can't manage $5, you don't see how you can manage 5 million.
Okay, let's get to some of these persons that were out.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Wait, just before we touch on the entrepreneurship, we just want to remind persons of our sponsor for today, who brought us some lovely cupcakes. Watering, and it's Daniel, and where is the information?
Daniel Bishop. For goodness cakes.
For goodness cake.
For goodness cakes.
I always thought it said for goodness cake.
For goodness cakes.
For goodness cake.
249-5491. That's 249-5491. Daniel Bishop. You can call to place your orders or not.
Yes, good.
Okay. With reference to Minister Simmons, I will speak to both Minister Simmons and Minister Sutherland.
Yeah, you can speak.
Want to go. because obviously Minister Sutherland was moved
I was
from
going to tell you something.
small business and commerce to
Minister of Youth and
community empowerment, and Minister Simmons was moved from tourism to small business. Now, the Prime Minister of Barbados, in her wisdom, decided to shift portfolios. One, and she, remember, we are just the public looking on. The Prime Minister felt within herself that this person was a benefit for this ministry, and remember that she has parole parliament and she's bringing a new vision. So when she presents that vision to the people of Barbados, then we can understand why she felt it necessary at this time that this person should probably go to this ministry and this person should go to this ministry, because she has the ultimate decision to decide where some person goes. And people talk about the emotions and all sorts of foolishness, right? If you look at the Ministry of Small Business, it is a very large ministry. There's a lot that falls under that ministry, believe it or not. And we also talk about the Ministry of Youth. The development of the minds of the young people of Barbados is one of the most paramount
the
issues
Prime
of
Minister has that to her heart.
But I
in
think
Barbados. So
education has more impact on youth than the Ministry of Youth.
no, I can't say that, and I'll tell you the reason why. It is one thing to
Well,
send
no, you look at it.
right. It is one thing to send a child to school between 8 and 3 o'clock on a daily basis, and you more or less maintain the educational plan in Barbados and education system. But look, we spoke about Dale Marshall first, right?
Don't get thrown off.
No, we ain't getting thrown off topic. I'm making a point here that connects Dale the ministry, the Attorney General ministry to this, right? A lot of the persons in Barbados who are committing crime are below the age of 25. So you need to have a minister out there who you put your confidence in and you say, listen, I want you to go there and be the driving force for the development of the youth of this country.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're both different, because one, they feel educating our children for the world of work.
Of course.
But one also looks at the fact that we have a lot of the youth that needs to be educated, because the ministry of youth look at youth mainstream program, polyperson, polytechnic, and advancing them.
Yeah. I remember the youth are the ones who have to carry forward this country.
Right.
So Minister Sutherland is now tasked with the future of Barbados.
Fair enough. With the other person, then we look at some outs right now. I guess the cupcakes are on.
Oh, which one is the cookies and cream?
Which one you had, Kim?
This one is good. I had a red velvet, I must say. They're on. I saw a pearl jump off. I actually thought it was real. But
You saw what?
pearl.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually thought it was real. Funny. Funny that my boyfriend overseas and she got a clamp. And they actually had it 2 pearls, which was real. And yeah, it was really expensive, the pearls turned out to be. But anyway, we want to focus on, don't forget, call Danielle. She's on here and still. I mean,
249-5491.
I will eat another 2 cards here. Yep. Anyway, we're looking at some ministers and people that was out, right? So let's go first with the father Nero. Now, I don't know, and I don't know if you know, but you could tell me. First in history, I've seen any political history that I've seen a parliamentarian move from the position within 2 years span of being in the ministry.
First.
I'm often, I said, first I've seen. I don't know if I'm not saying persons don't move from parliamentarians. What I'm saying, I've never seen where a parliamentarian was switched, because parliamentarian is not a role that you really interfere with. They can serve a full 5 term.
He was a parliamentary secretary. He was on a
No, it was right. You had something, bro? What I'm just saying is, it's unprecedented.
It's not.
Who parliamentarian you know that was shifted in 2 years of being a parliamentary representative? None.
He has not been shifted from being a parliamentary representative.
He's out.
To the back bench.
He has been placed in the backbench. He's not. He's
He's
out.
out.
He's not out of.
Not a parliamentary representative. He was a what?
Parliamentary secretary.
Parliamentary secretary. What I'm saying is, under the parliamentary secretary, we've never seen no parliamentary secretary move from the position within 2 years. Remember, and on the fact that Nero is an elected official, and you still get Senator Ramel Springer, who is a selected official. You understand? So it begs to then on different. I begs to then question why Minister Department Secretary
He was down minister.
Rowe was out. He's a junior minister, but what I'm saying, he's out of the cabinet. So those are one that, and I must say, is it something of a disappointment? Is it something of I heard him in Prime Minister and I take that to heart that she's actually going to be using these people even though they're out of the cabinet. So that was a shock. That is still a question number one, not a shocker. I don't know if you guys going to see him, but that
He was not. Before you further, he was not a member of cabinet.
I'm using the language they use.
A parliamentary secretary is not a member of cabinet.
I'm using the language
I
they use. They were members of cabinet, as I was told. Yeah, they do say. Let me not debate that one. But I was told that they were.
I think I saw Mr. Robert Bobby Morris watching. Can you message in and confirm if a parliamentary secretary sits in cabinet just for Jermaine's sake?
Before you say, then we have hold on, no, then we have Trevor Prescott. That we just don't need them.
I just want to have a quick
and
word
then that
on
would
you.
be good.
I knew Brian and he want to see unexpectedly to a lot of persons. Obviously, he should. He thought that he should have been rewarded for actually known a political giant.
Who's the giant?
Come on, Jay. So my thing is, 2 years in, you move him back to the back bench. He is fairly young still. He has a lot of energy, and he should be able to contribute to the politics. However, I do not get the impression that Roe is highly, I would say, an asset right now to the administration and
You don't
the
think he
direction.
is?
Yes, an asset to the direction of where the party probably wants to go. So hence why he's on the back bench. I think that moving him was a great disadvantage to him, and they could clearly see where Walter is taking his seat in the next election.
Oh, you obviously says so. I wonder. You say you see Ryan Waters, but again, just because the Prime Minister would have taken Nero out of the cabinet, it doesn't mean that it is a clear path for the Democratic Labour Party to bring anybody to come and contest. And has Mr. Water been confirmed as the candidate for that area?
The question is,
And that's the
Water.
I think if you're watching, could you
please confirm with us, Mr. Waters, if you are?
Kimar, you are you saying that Ryan Walters is a stronger candidate than Chris Sidgwick?
I never say that.
No, I'm asking.
Is he coming back?
But it would be irrelevant to answer that right now because Chris is not active in.
No, because my point is that if Ryan Walters isn't, in your opinion, Nero just cut down the giant, as you want to put it.
Yeah.
To me, he's a giant, but he just cut the giant. So you're bringing out a candidate that is underneath this giant, and you think that he can beat Nero?
Confirmed candidate to be sent.
Unless seeing that he has some sort of connection to Burger King. Are we in COVID times and people want food and allegedly the other minister and did some giveaways. I don't know if it's food involved from Burger King, some burgers involved to get some votes.
Neil is not necessarily the high profile strong candidate. But if you take the next election into context, I think persons are going to want to vote for opposition, so the swing out opportunity is there.
Yeah, but the question the question is which opposition?
Yeah, which one?
The PDP or the DLP? Which opposition?
Well, you never know, Grandma, but it's not a bad solution.
Grandma.
The thing is, though, that one of the things we have to understand, yes, to me, Neil is not seen as a power or tower strength as a politician. I think that he had a perfect opportunity to shine, and I don't think it materialized to me. And when you will get removed, and the Prime Minister and anybody out there that know politics will know this, if you remove somebody from the ministerial position, you are ruining them politically for a period of time.
I disagrey. You
They may be, and then said for a period of time. We cannot say here and negate that being removed as a minister, this perception of people is not going to be that's an underperforming minister. But at the same time, we still have a good 2 years to go for election, and he can be reappointed to a ministry that would give them the benefit of give the people the
I
benefit.
think we're looking at this too much when it comes to Neil. We know what Neil is and what he gives. And we know before election, on the ground, people were supporting Neil. And you may not know whatever groundwork Neil is doing, but to come and put Neil on some pedestal that he's supposed to be this and up there and want to relate back to elections, I don't think it's called for. If Neil could come and be secretary wherever, but still doing his work within his,
and that is what the focus is going to be on. I think he would have more chance to focus on that consistency. That consistency is definitely not a BLB stronghold. So
that consistency does flow with the time.
Right, but what I'm saying, it can flow.
That consistency is going to give you enough.
Right, but hold on.
But he gave away a lot to win.
But hold on.
The previous minister was giving away a lot
and he has to be able to match that previous minister.
I hear about fridge and TVs and all.
We don't have it. But here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying.
I will not make a comment on this particular.
But no, but what I'm saying is that let's not be naive to think that people are not going to perceive this, that when you're out as a minister, it doesn't show that your performance was, they think your performance was weak. Yes, the Prime Minister clarified that don't see this as a riff or rap, or don't see it as on the performance or not, but rather see it as a way that, they're still going to be used. So I'm not so much against.
He hardly spoke.
Correct. But what I'm saying is he still has 2 years for the Prime Minister to say, or put him back in the ministry, boost him again, and he has a problem. There's not a problem, but you cannot stop right now perception, because this show is not the only boy talking. They have gone down to brass that, where people are calling in and saying demotion and promotion, where people are saying boy this and boy that. We can move on to then Trevor Prescott, who then people also, along with George Payne, let's add in George Payne with this particular person, and Edmund Mason, as ministers that people were quote unquote kind of shocked that were backbenched. But
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but judging on what you're hearing, speculation as it relates to Mr. Prescott's health condition may have been contributing factor. George Payne could have been a contributor. These are what I kind of like about this whole thing, and especially with the older seasoned politician, is that yes, the Prime Minister in her wisdom did something that I thought was well. Some of these guys have been sitting around for a while, and I think that giving them a break now on the backbench is fine by me. And at the same time, making room also for as younger persons or persons to be with it. I don't know if these persons outs are going to run back. I don't know. I can't say. I have not heard anything, but I'm just saying that I do not see this reshuffle as a bad thing. I think it's strategic. If you go back to Charles, great for St. John. And we hope we see water.
I will say that to be honest, the three persons that you called who were outside from the cabinet, I was one of the persons who was shocked, and the one I was most shocked about was Trevor, because I will be fair, he was one of the more flamboyant, and
but he's old.
No. You see all that?
But
he was one of the
I'm sorry,
but based upon the reason for us knowing why he was moved.
I don't know the reason. I don't care the reason.
You don't know the reason?
No, hold on, listen.
But I mean, because you don't care the reason when there's a legitimate reason.
Hold on. Let's
be real.
Let's be real. That's
what the legitimate
right?
reason.
Let's be real. You see what you were talking there? You were having something. Charles Gerber holds a session every Sunday night. Inside talk. You talking about inside talk, right? But I am just a regular voter in this country. I was watching.
I remember.
The lies coming.
Hold on.
The lies coming.
I was watching the Prime Minister on TV just like you, right? And I was like, this is shocking, right? So, I will say that Minister Preston, former Minister Preston, I was legitimately shocked.
Okay.
Because I in my mind, I was like, I personally thought he was working, and there are many other people across Barbados who thought he was doing a good job.
With the exception of the Democrats.
So therefore,
a bit shocked.
But even them thought he was doing a good job.
But it's not about if he was doing a good job or not.
To do the job.
But he was doing the job.
But I'm saying,
I want to say this, right? I want to say this, right? You are talking to health, right? Trevor Prescott. As much as you are trying to suggest or infer whatever you are, alright, he was actually working more than some men who are seen to be healthy and up there and able. So, if you bring that as an excuse, it's a poor and shabby excuse.
I believe that there's a time that, and I said, the Prime Minister has to make way for people.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister has to know when, obviously, to do it. And this, in my thinking, is that, yes, some of these guys are really at that age. I believe that within up to the next election, they could take a bow and go home. But wait. Wait, what?
But Glenn Clark said
Trevor Bus is 71, in the election
Hold on,
he
you
was
see,
73.
no, hold on,
you know,
I don't understand.
Glenn Clark said ours is Sunday at his batch meeting that
You were there?
I watched it online.
It was all
That he, as far as
He's
you know,
running.
he running, he coming back.
But for what?
But hold on.
For what?
Hold on. Kimar, I want you to be fair. They got young people in this country, they got middle age, they got elderly. They all made their contribution. And
have made their contribution.
And if a man at 70 or 71 decides that he wants to continue doing what he loves to do, one, and if the people who are charged with voting for this person decide, look, he might be, look, how old are you, Ms. Kimar?
I can't recall any
No,
where retirement hit you got.
Hold on, how old you are?
25.
Good. If you at age of 25 years old go up against Glenn Clark in next election in St. George North, not I know, same party think you should run.
Glenn Clark is 69 now.
Alright, hold on.
In the election he'll be 72.
Hold on. And
73.
if young Kimar Stewart here, who will be 20, he's at 25 now, right? So you'll be 27 in next election.
Really, 27 in this election? Your math is so off.
He's 25, next election is 2 years away.
Between 2 to 3 years, so 27 to 8.
Right.
You're looking at 2022. Is 18? Is that yours?
Well, yeah, 23. So let me go with 23. Don't want to do the math.
So you'll be around 27, 28. And Glenn Clark will be between 71 and 72. Right? Now, if
But
you...
Glenn Clark will be 72, 73.
Alright, 72, 73. But if you, at your young age, goes up against a seasoned and experienced veteran in politics like Glenn Clark, and the people of St. George North decide, look, you want back Glenn Clark at 73, you don't care how young you are.
There's been disputed that, but what can you listen, I let you.
And what does he have to
The
vote?
Prime Minister said that she let you 2 terms. You serve for the 10 years, you go home.
She said she let you 2 terms as Prime Minister.
No, but
here's
here's what. But no, she's trying to implement 2 terms. What I'm just saying all
Prime
across.
Minister.
But even if it's Prime Minister implemented down the ladder, I do not see. This is what we can say 25, 30, 40 years, whatever he been in Parliament.
He was in Parliament for 1991.
Right.
And Miss Molly was there for
Just
1994.
before, right? Well, whatever. But
And
I'm
George
just
Payne was there for
saying.
1994.
Oh God, now you call everybody.
20
No,
years.
I can tell everybody too. But I'm just saying that we have to come to understanding. There's some people at that age, and I glad to see that the ministers are fit to some degree. But we can see that at this age is when you are not active as you want to be.
I disagree with
Hello, well, no, you're not as active as you want to be. You may be able to accept you are at a baby age. You could only take 5 or 6 steps. As a young man, you could take 1,000 steps. When you're climbing up the ages, there is some part of you that cannot take that 1,000 steps. You understand? And yeah, we could go there. So I'm just saying your body starts to deteriorate because you're coming into that age. But at the same time, I do not see why that you can't get a young budding person. Well, unlike the democratic process, the Barbadian party process is a little different because you could go for nomination against him. Get some young people or allow for the party or the prime minister or whoever to get somebody to trust in the seat to carry on, whether it be the legacy of the party or the legacy of the seat, and keep it. But just as the Democratic Labour Party, let me tell you something, just as the Democratic Labour Party held on to this country longer than 3 months, although it was constitutional, but into the 3 months, we have a tendency that we do not know when to let go. And that then, 40 years or 30 years in Parliament that you were so good at, everybody forget you.
I just want to make one counter argument with you, right? You're bringing this thing to age, and I have a severe issue with that. Alright? When Patrick Todd entered the Parliament of Barbados and the executive of this country, I believe he was in his early 40s. Either early 40s or late 30s. Alright? Now, the people in the city of Bridgetown, they had a choice between Patrick Todd, who was a young, sprightly politician, versus Billy Miller, they chose Patrick Todd, right?
Okay.
But hear this, alright? I want you to be fair, including you. Do you honestly believe that Patrick Todd did even 1/10, even 1/100th of the job that Billy Miller did?
Alright, we need to
And he was not even as decent a representative as Sheriff.
Alright,
so let me go to Charles.
forward, we had a shift between Charles Griffin going into water resources, Abraham is out. What do you say as a strategic move?
Ministry,
course.
Abraham is the minister of Home Affairs, Information and Public Affairs. So that means he will be the mouthpiece for the government.
Well, Charles Griffin getting into water resources, and it is kind of obvious. Y'all got that credit for that one. Y'all pushed the water issue in St. John so much that Miss Martin said, you know what, you're pushing the water issue? I'm going to put the MP down there to be the Minister for Water Resources. He's going to fix the water issues in St. John.
Jermaine, you just talk so much bullshit.
How
You could come and say that they push it. Man, the people in St. John who push this, Charles Griffin who push this, man.
One challenge I have with this particular ministry, though, of Minister Charles, is actually a make or break ministry that he's been thrust into. Because being in a ministry doesn't necessarily mean the water issue is fixed. And yes, he's there now to understand the issue more in depth. But
I don't think he's there to understand it. He's there to assist.
But no, what I'm saying is,
he's there to
if
fix.
at the same time, at the same token, the water issue is not fixed, that is linked versus when it's fixed. So I think it is a twofold. It's a very heavy weight on him, and he has to decide now what is the best approach as a minister in the ministry. And you realize he's not the ministry. He's not the minister he's not the minister in the Ministry of Transport and Works.
He's a minister in water resources.
Water resources.
So he's specifically
focusing on that, which I find is good. But as I was just saying, I hope that they have the solution and getting ready to implement those solutions or find the solution quick, because this, we have to remember that the St. John seat is not a BLP seat, and this fixing of this particular issue within St. John is a big factor in winning back the seat. So it is a make or break seat. I think it's a brilliant strategy by the Prime Minister, but I think that there's some other aspect to it that the Prime Minister, and I think giving him a good guideline, Ian,
to guide him.
Goody Edger to guide him, because Ian Goody Edger seems to be the fixer of government.
But not only that,
it's
it's funny enough that we complain about having issue with waterworks and doing waterworks projects and digging and fixing. Somebody agree with Jermaine? That person just as mad as Jermaine. But in terms of the waterworks having issue. So going back to the fact that waterworks, there's an issue in Barbados, whereas waterworks come, they get your road, and then minutes down the line, it's not being fixed. Having the Minister of Transport Works and Waterworks that he can find a solution to get everything based upon having a solution, whereas all to work in hand together. Whereas when waterworks come and fix and they get the road, Ministry of Transport Works comes a couple minutes after, or they're on site to fix the road as it was before. That's a major issue in Barbados.
I think that's a brilliant move, though. Right, Mark?
I think Wilfred needed to be removed from Water Authority. I don't think that he handled the ministry quite well. I think a lot of persons were disappointed in the way Wilfred performed, particularly with the silly comment that he made in St. John.
I got one off for that one.
Yeah,
coming in the video just now.
As a high-profile attorney, spent a couple of years in the Senate, so I think persons had a higher expectation for him to hit the ground running. Yes, people do make mistakes, so I do understand. But the move over to Home Affairs, which is more of along the lines of the legal profession, kind of, I think that he would fit there more. And I think under Home Affairs is like immigration and prison.
Don't forget some of the roles of the CDC. Went on to the Attorney General.
But to be fair to Airboom's, he did came in at a time when Barbados, sorry, when the South Coast was known as the Dirty South because of the Democratic Party, and he came in as minister and had that problem resolved within no time. Correct. And really, truly, the only negative you can really say is based upon what the words that came out of his mouth at the
what was the negative? Word and Beach is being closed right now, so there's still persons on the South Coast still complaining about issues with the sewage, so I don't think the sewage problem.
But it's not like the road.
If you have to ask someone that have a business and live in that area,
you know, people business.
if they had to prefer what is going on now compared to before, I could tell you.
But it's actually
you
have to look at the fact that businesses are open. You're not smelling it. I remember having a business on the South Coast there too, and
we were literally observing do shit.
You know, people didn't know how to come down there and they lost that business. So you know, I think another shocker for us would have been Ed Mays. He's a pretty young politician. He's 54, boss. He's a young politician, not 70. Right, so he's pretty young. I thought that would have been.
So when you're 54, you're young, but 70.
3 years, no, he's doing
That's called age discrimination.
Well, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I say you're too old, because I'm home. And make way for young people to come in and do things. And it's just like the same public servants in the public service. You have people dinosaur in the system that don't come out and purge the system so that we can allow fresh blood, fresh mind to get in. And that's why I like American system.
You know, don't know all work, right?
That bullshit.
I think that the Ministry of Home Affairs, could have been added back to the Attorney General's office and
the same Attorney General he was criticizing?
Yeah, and both I recommended to switch him with Ralph Thorne, give Ralph Thorne an opportunity for Attorney General and add the Home Affairs portfolio back onto the Attorney General's office and
put him in the minister as minister.
Does Ralph Thorne want ministry?
And Edmund Hickson on the back bench.
Just want to answer this question. You answered tonight's think of respect, remembering former Prime Minister Winapa. If you would have signed on earlier, you would have seen that we did mention and we did speak forward about former Prime Minister Winapa. So we did pay our respect on the show, and we will.
We also give a minute silence.
I will give a minute of silence. This is to Mr. Henderson. So please. Yes, please. Thank you, Bernard Connor, for also drawing it to his attention.
My question to you, Kimar, is this: that you keep on saying that that Ralph Thorne should be Attorney General. There's Sandy Bradshaw, the lawyer. Ralph Thorne is a lawyer. No, you can't quote me if I'm mistaken. Edmund Hickson is a lawyer. Ronald Toppin is a lawyer.
The Attorney General is a lawyer. Motley is a lawyer.
Dale Marshall is a lawyer. George Payne is a lawyer.
Motley is a lawyer.
There are many lawyers in Parliament right now.
I am a lawyer.
Okay, but my point to you is this, right? You keep on saying that Ralph Thorne should be Attorney General. I want you to give me two things. Why Ralph Thorne should be Attorney General, number one, and why not one of the other lawyers, Wilfred is a lawyer too, why not one of the other lawyers in the Barbados Labour Party parliamentary grouping, why shouldn't they be Attorney General?
Ralph Thorne is my obvious choice.
Why?
I've heard people say that he is an obvious choice, but also the Speaker of the House is a lawyer.
He's a lawyer too.
A brilliant lawyer.
But he's
a good criminal lawyer, just like Ralph Thorne.
He's the Speaker of the House.
Also, Kerry
he could be moved. Kerry is a lawyer too.
Yeah, he's the Speaker of the House.
But he can be moved from that and put as the Attorney General.
But I think if you followed Ralph Thorne's career in the courts, you will see that he had a clear set of achievements as an attorney, and any rational thinking person who
so
Ralph Thorne had more achievements as a lawyer than Wilfred Evans?
Why you always trying to do some sort of comparison? I tell you about Ralph, and you carry me on to Wilfred. If you have another choice or why somebody else should be given the job, give it. But I don't need to compare and say why somebody else. He's my choice, and if I had been the one making the decisions, I would clearly pick Ralph Thorne.
You put Ralph Thorne.
The other person that I would like to look at is the quickly, so that we can wrap up. Is I see Adrian Medic Ford have also given ministry, people call it a promotion of environment and natural beautification, which was launched. Trevor Prescott's ministry, and I think that based on his Minister Ford track record, people was kind of shocked that he actually remained in that cutting edge and then put better. But I think he did a really good program, especially the building block program. That was an awesome program that saw a number of community receiving those little kiosks to start a business. So I thought that was a good ministry in itself. Another one that was quite interesting, was John King. He's the minister in the Prime Minister office with responsibility for culture and national development commission, and I thought that was pretty good. I heard a lot of people commending the fact that culture went back under the Prime Minister, because remember she was the Minister of Sports, Youth and Culture.
But we should also remember that when Apple was Prime Minister of this country, culture fell under him.
Yeah.
So culture traditionally in the Barbados, in the context, always falls
under the Prime Minister. Now that was a good one. I think that is good for his training. Lucille Moore is one that was out as well. Can't really find a comparison between that, and I think that if you wanted to cut ministry, that would have been ideal to cut, because that minister.
So what about foreign affairs? You have two ministers in you have Jerome Walker and
Minister Sanders, but I think that's a well-performing ministry. I think that no one has had any complaints or any issues with that. I know Minister Jerome Walker, he travels a lot, so well. The traveling is being done, in-house activities are being taken care of, and that's a portfolio which stretch also on an international level with our different consulates and embassy around.
I want to say.
You want to disagree?
No, I don't want to disagree. I want to say to you that regardless of who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, that the travel that the job is just traveling.
Yeah.
Because when Billy Miller was Minister of Foreign Affairs, they once called her the international minister.
Yeah.
And remember Maxine McLean?
Yeah. So it's a travel, but I'm kind of glad that the Prime Minister did a minister in, because even if the minister is one or either traveling, there's somebody here to handle it.
But if you look at specifically what Sandra's portfolio is, she's the minister in the Ministry of Trade. And what we fail to recognize,
she's a great trade specialist.
Right, yeah. So what we fail to recognize is that after the tourism industry in Barbados and the offshore financial services sector, right, the Ministry of Trade is responsible for getting Barbados to export things out of Barbados. And you're a young economist, so you would know that.
So she's actually running a complete ministry in the Ministry of
Yeah. So you would know that Barbados exports something around $500 million a year. We internally
kind of a whisper.
Are you sure?
Our second biggest market is CARICOM.
Right.
So we make a lot of money, and then even the rum industry, I think we make between $50 to $80 million a year out of rum. We got sugar, we got confectionery, we got drinks. So the Ministry of Trade, believe it or not,
is an important
Minister Husbands is out there doing very important work, and Minister Walcott is, as you know, Barbados they party had the Rubbing Shoulders program.
Mm-hmm.
Minister Walcott is doing Rubbing Shoulders for Barbados all around the world.
The last one that we can look at before wrapping up is Kurt Humphrey, Minister of Maritime Affairs and Blue Economy. He was also on change with Colin Jordan, Minister of Labour. Kay McConney, Minister of Innovation. We also had Minister Cattle was on change, and also Ryan Strong was on change. And I don't have a problem with those persons being on change. Our Minister Cynthia Ford, rather, were not on change. I think that they're all doing great work.
I would say the one person that I want to commend on this program is Minister Kay McConney. I think she is strong and solid. And if ever there was a member from the Senate that I believe should run in the next election campaign for a seat as a parliamentary representative, is Minister Kay McConney.
Do you think, though, in wrapping up, that we think that Lisa Cummings would be a person that would be running? Because one of my things is that as a senator, your survival is not that long. In terms of if a new prime minister was supposed to be elected tomorrow, your possibility of not being a minister is thin. Do you see Lisa Cummings having to? I think that she would run in the next election to secure herself as a future minister in this country. Some people may dispute differently.
I think she's young enough, solid enough, educated enough, and obviously given the opportunity to prove herself
She probably
as
did
a
the job.
senator first, she did.
Where do you think you will see her?
In terms of a constituency?
St. Thomas.
Well, it varies. I think that she would do well in a constituency, like St. Thomas, or she could probably do well. Well, I shouldn't say that out loud.
St. George North?
No, St. James North.
That's Carrie Simmons?
No, that is Edmund Hickson.
And they said, okay, fair enough. Alright.
They think Lisa is a brilliant addition. Both Lisa and Big Nigel are brilliant additions to the cabinet.
I always wonder when he wasn't Minister of Tourism.
Who's that?
But remember we said the caveat that because you're a doctor, don't mean you're good.
Yeah.
A good
Right, and that
Yeah.
ends tonight's show.
Geez,
Thank you
we're
for having us.
We're gonna go roll the name real quick, yeah.
Yes, I have to.
Alright, alright. Alright.
You woman.
You're gonna roll somewhere you want.
He's still on camera.
I don't understand, you know it?
Yeah.
I said so for purpose.
That anyhow, we want to thank each and everyone for joining us tonight. We had a good conversation. I think a much more peaceful and polite one than we normally do.
Yes.
But is going. We sure is maturing to some degree.
Simon Ali, we miss you tonight, bro.
Yeah. But we just again want definitely pay our condolences to the family and the country at large of the passing of our former Prime Minister Moisimo Arthur, who would have passed away on the 27th, our 5th Prime Minister. So we really, Andrew is where I see her going, wow, that's a big one, Henderson. I see Lisa coming out saying Andrew. But yes, we do want to pay our condolences to the family and the country. Join us again next week, Tuesday, for the DeBrief show, where we will have some interesting guests who have promised us to be on the show. We hope that they could live up to their word and be on the show with us. But we want you to join us every Tuesday at 6 o'clock here, 6:30 we always say, on the DeBrief show. And stay tuned as we discuss more interesting topics. Please feel free to follow our page. Juliet, thank you for joining. Very interesting show, ma'am. Feel free to watch our episode. Your name was mentioned here today. We think you're doing a great work at the hospital.
Wonderful
work. Keep it up. I know where you're coming from over at the Family Planning Association. I know you did a really good job there, and I know you will continue doing such a wonderful job, man. But we encourage everyone to stay tuned to connect with us, like the show, like the page, know when we are coming live. Follow us every Tuesday. Stay tuned to the DeBrief TV show, and we just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and making the show possible. Have a wonderful and blessed good night. Until then, just be safe for the hurricane. Stock up, join a district emergency organization, and just get yourself entrenched into some stuff. Thank you.